This is the great one, the ultimate driving machine. And if you don't know what that means, you're excused. But if, when you see this car, you're seized with an uncontrollable urge to plant yourself behind the wheel and head for the wide open spaces, then we're talking to you. The great one is an idea on wheels. The idea that there's more to driving than just moving from place to place in isolated indifference. The great one is 400 cubic inches of glistening engine. The great one is a superb road-handling chassis. The great one is bucket seats, carpeting, and a walnut-styled instrument panel. The great one is Pontiac GTO for 1967. Isn't it time you decided to ride the wide-track winning streak? The great one is here.
Hi guys, we're back with the final on our 67 GTO Pro Street Kit Bash build-up, which is also being entered into the Blue Ox Street Machine Group build. And we bashed together the venerable AMT 67 Chevelle Pro Street kit with the AMT MPC, same tooling of the 67 GTO. Unfortunately, the GTO tooling is not the best, but it's the only thing out there, so you're kind of stuck with it for the 67. And it's kind of, if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it must be a chicken scenario, but it does look like 67 GTO. When building these kits, the front nose piece here of the grill and the headlight buckets doesn't fit the body real well. You have to kind of sand the center piece a little bit, and sometimes on the fenders, and occasionally you even have to heat and bend this chrome nose piece to fit the body, so that there's not big gaps here at the top or sticking out the side. Fortunately for this one, it wasn't super bad. We just did a little sanding here on the fender corners and on the center pillar, and it, as you can see, it went up real well. We used a craft acrylic H copper paint, and then we sprayed over it with Testors Color Shift Pink Champagne lacquer. The camera is not picking it up, and in person the whole car has a pink glow to it over the top of the dirty orangish coppery color, and it's really cool. It's got the pink champagne has both gold and red metal flakes in a clear lacquer. And if you spray, the more you spray on, the better the effect. It's intended to go over black for the best color shift, where you're shifting from black to gold to a pinkish red. But when you put it over other colors, like in here the copper, it really fires off a different feel for it to the color. Gives it a lot of depth and glow. I'm really happy with it. So this is the Testors Color Shift paint. You can pick it up at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, and most hobby shops carry it. And it's the pink champagne color, which is what I used over the aged copper paint. And these they're about $7 or so a can, but it goes a long way. Because it's basically just a clear with the metallic in it, so it doesn't take a whole lot to cover what you need. All our chrome work was done with bare metal foil. God, I hate bare metal foil. But there's really nothing that can quite match it for what you're doing. I've tried the Molotov pens, and I've tried masking and painting with the AKs, or in the Alclads, even though I do love the AK paint for that type of thing. It just doesn't quite cut it. Where the bare metal foil does give you that metal look, because obviously it is metal. Since we did a Pro Street, we obviously have the chute on the back, and we used a green shock line in honor of our good friend Charlie. And that's what we're looking at. So basically the kit, the chassis down is all from the Chevelle. The motor, the chassis, the radiator cord, suspension. The wheels actually came from the AMT 66 Nova kit. Because that's the one thing about the Chevelle kit that I do not like are the wheels. The tires are fine. In fact, you get 2 sets of tires. You get straight up drag slicks, which is what I've got on there now, and you get a set of street, what I would call a street slick. It's the same size tire, but it has a tread on it. We use decals mostly from a 66 Chevelle kit for our badging, and on the rear quarter, on the trunk deck, inside on the interior, and down here on the kick panel has, well, let's see if I doubt that I can zoom into it enough to keep it in focus, but we'll try. If not, I'll try and get a picture of it. Yeah, there we go. We got a GTO badge there, and the Hertz powered right above it. And these are the wheels, the Krager wheels from the Nova kit, 66 Nova kit. They are 2 Krager, I want to say 230s is the model, and then the Pro cap covers up the lug nuts. You can get a regular standard Krager center cap for those as well, but I like the Pro cap is what came on those, and I kind of like those. So we'll be back out of here. One of these days I'll remember which direction is which. So we can't. I'll put some shots into the interior when I move the car off the turntable here in a minute. I'll try to shoot inside the interior a little better, and we'll get to some pictures of the bottom at that time, as well as under the hood. That's another issue with a lot of these 67 GTOs have, is the hood fitment is not great. Part of it is which would be normally a core support, tends to be a hair tall. And it's got those big round lugs in it from when this was a promo car tooling, where those pegs would snap into it. Keeps the hood from sitting down as well as it should. But we obviously we took out the core support. When we look inside here in a second, we'll go over more of that, which helps alleviate that problem. You do have to sometimes sand and trim a little bit on the hood and the front clip there to bring things down tight. So what we're going to do is we'll move this down off the turntable so we can get in some few other angles, like inside the interior and whatnot. So hang on, we'll be right back. I think maybe you can just pick up a hair of it there on the camera. The camera just really doesn't want to pick up that red glow that the whole car has from the pink champagne metal plate. But anyway, that's our hood. See, in person, it's glowing like it's on fire, like it's fluorescent. It's awesome. But the camera just does not want to pick it up. Anyway, that's our hood. Here's the bottom side. Got something on there. I guess I need to clean that off. Okay, so that's that. We will bring the car in, and we're going to adjust the camera up and tilt her down. Alright, so we used the kit engine from the Chevelle. It says the entire chassis from the Chevelle, including the core support, the overflow bottle, the battery, master cylinder, and brake booster. Made the coil myself. The spark plug wires are made with 22 thousandths solder, which I then paint whatever color I want, in this case red. I like using the solder because it will take whatever shape you want it and it'll stay. And then I can also, since I can paint it any color, I can make it red or yellow or blue or green or purple or whatever for the build I want. The only part of the engine that's not Chevelle is I used the 389 intake from the GTO kit, which is a single carb intake, but then I used the top piece of that high-rise manifold from the Chevelle and the two carburetors on top of that, so I could have dual quads, and which is what my GTO actually had. Mine had dual 750 Hollies on it, and mine had a big block 400 in it, which was not stock. The GTO I had was, when I bought it, had been converted to a drag car, and I was in the process of bringing it back to a full-on street car when the car guys decided to take it away from me and sent it to an early death. But the engine did live on. Engine and transmission did live on in another car. And I used some sheet stock to fill in the space here in front of the core support, just because it didn't look neat. Because you could see the back of the nose piece, and there's not a lot of detail on the front of the core support, so it just didn't look neat and finished that you would see on a dressed out car like this. So we put that in, just painted it with some polished aluminum paint, I think it was, and called it a day. So we turn this bad boy on its side. Oh, the only external part that did come from the Chevelle kit was the mirror, because the Chevelle kit does give you 2 mirrors and the AMT doesn't give you any. Most of their kits don't include them. So I still stole one of the mirrors and put it on here. So I still got a spare for another build. There's a lot of cars in this era, outside mirrors were an optional part. So they either didn't have them or would only have the driver's side one. Very rarely did they have the passenger side one out of the door from the showroom. So anyway, back to this. We said we used the 66 Nova wheels for a chassis. Other than that, the chassis underneath has got a basic paint job on it, and it's stocked right out of the kit. The front suspension, the rear suspension, everything. The only thing I noticed it didn't have, which I wish it did, it does not have the linkage between the front wheels doesn't work, so the wheels can move independently. But I'll probably just end up gluing that anyway. So that's our underside. Let's see if I can get us in here into the interior. It's going to be dark in there, I know. Try to move a light here and see if we can get in there. Well, I can see in there pretty well, but the camera can't. I've got stills from before we put it in to help see it better. Let me put this back. Slide that back over here. Let's see, now my hood actually fits really tight. It actually kind of wedges in. And drops right in like it should. So that's our 66 Pro Street, 67 Pro Street GTO kit bash with the 67 Chevelle. And I hope you enjoyed watching the video. And so this is also part of the Street Machine group build put on by Blue Ox Models. And we will have lots of pictures coming up at the end of this video. And we will be joining the Whirlybird group build at the end of the month. And then I'm going to start on, next up is the Gotcha Man God Phoenix. I'm going to start on that. I have the good one, not the chicken one. So that's going to be our next build. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And we will see you on our next video. Bye.